Right, I'm going to expose this demon pictured on screen who goes by the name of Agares. Right, now Agares is this character here, Pastor Daniel. Now I want you to have a look at the artist's depiction. Right, the facial expression, the nose, etc. Right, and I want you to come across to this channel here. Right, this Pastor Daniel, Christ is King. I'm just going to scroll down. Right, now if you compare his image to the image of this demon here, you'll see that it's the same entity. All right, now this is another depiction of the demon Agares. All right, he's also the rebellious meat puppet up on YouTube. All right, the rebellious meat puppet and Pastor Daniel are the same entity. All right, another role that this demon plays online is Chiron Last. Right now, they all lost the plot at around about the same time. Right, it's no accident. I don't need to get into what Chiron the Last did to his subscribers. Right, it's no accident because they're all the same entity. All right, now if you come across here to the Wikipedia article, it states that he teaches languages. All right, now another character that this entity plays, right, this Agares, he's also Alexander Dugin. All right, he doesn't really need an introduction. I'm pretty sure you all know who Alexander Dugin is. If you don't, well then I suggest you Google it. Now we'll just have a quick read of what this entity here is about. Right, so it states here in the Grand Grimoire, right, it features him as a subordinate of Lucifuge Rofacal. Right, now Lucifuge Rofacal is Vladimir Putin. Right, this demon here is known as the Assassin Demon. All right, now think about the stories that you hear in the media about what Putin does to political dissidents. As one example, all right, they always end up poisoned or assassinated. Right, now none of these websites here, they're never going to tell you anything like what I'm telling you here in this upload. Same as these other YouTubers. Right, they're only going to put up photos. They're not going to get in and explain anything to you. Most of the time anyway. All right, now Agares is known as the rebellious fallen angel. All right, so of all the demons here on Earth, right, he's known as the most rebellious. All right, and if you come across to this guy's channel, all right, it's no accident that he calls himself the rebellious meat puppet. All right, now the media will report that Alexander Dugin is the brain of Vladimir Putin. Now, what that really means is, it's going back to this here, where it states that Agares is the subordinate of Lucifuge Rofecal. All right, because you may be asking yourself, well, how is the rebellious meat puppet the brains of Vladimir Putin? Now, this guy's a philosopher, right, among other things. Right, I'm explaining something that you really need to take note of here. It doesn't matter where, like what website you get onto, they're all going to tell you that he's a subordinate of this entity here. Right, now, Vladimir Putin's also Mike Dirnt, the guitarist from Green Day. All right, they don't just look alike. You'll find there's the spouses and other family members and associates also match up. I put a video out when the war first broke out between Russia and Ukraine about that. All right, now the rebellious meat puppet here, very anti-Jewish, right? Rants about them all the time, blames them for most of his troubles. And for a lot of the world's problems. Now, you come across to Dugin, like if you Google Dugin on Jews, all right, and you'll get a lot of articles such as Putin's fascist ideology. Both Putin and Alexander Dugin, also known as Putin's brain, have shown their fascist ideologies and anti-Semitism. The articles here, Russia is returning to its old anti-Semitic ways. All right, states here, he's a rebellious figure with the power to teach languages. All right, now if you come across to this here on Dugin from the Wikipedia, I'll just scroll up so that you can see. Scroll back down. Studying by himself, he learned to speak Italian, German, French, English, and Spanish. He can speak a lot more languages than that. He was influenced by René Guénon and by the Traditionalist School in the Lenin Library. He discovered the writings of Julius Evola. Anyway, I was just mentioning this bit here just to match up what it states here in relation to his mastery of the languages. All right, now we're going to watch this video here. I'll just get some volume. All right, Agares, the demonic duke who whispers madness.
Agares, legend says, is the master of sound. He can unleash deafening blasts that shatter minds or use maddening whispers to sow discord and paranoia. Some believe he controls echoes of forgotten lore, driving those seeking knowledge to madness. The worst theory? Agares can weave a symphony so personal it lures or torments with irresistible sound.
So you get lots of little clues like this. Right, but most people can't put it together. I mean, look, I've never seen anyone put it together like I'm putting it together for you now. Right, this information's already in my head. I already know all this. And I'm trying to explain it the best way that I can so that it's easy to understand. Because that's one of my shortcomings when I'm trying to teach my subscribers about these entities in terms of at times vague, because I forget that the people I'm talking to don't have the understanding in most cases that I do. Right, now we come across here to Daniel. Right, now I want you to listen to this, because it's no accident that he whispers, that he goes into these creepy whispers. Right, the other demons know why. He's doing it basically just to mock yous. Right, I know why. But 99.98% of you have got no idea. Right, until now. All right, now he does that a lot in his videos. I don't know if you could hear him go from, like, I had it turned up to 100. I'll just turn it down a bit now. All right, that's the title of the video. You can go there and listen to it yourself. He goes from a deep voice into his whispers. All right, just another trademark of these characters that you can identify. So where are we up to? All right, so we come down to here. It says instigator of immorality. It says Agares is known to instill immoral thoughts and behaviours in individuals. This corrupting influence speaks to his demonic nature and aligns with the traditional depiction of demons as tempters and deceivers. All right, now you will read texts about this demon being a deceiver, right? And you can see it on YouTube. I mean, not only does he tell lies, especially if he's got it in for someone, but you can see it in the videos that he tries to make, because he's not very good in battle, right? So he puts up like comments on the screen, but will black half the comment out and will give you no background context behind it. All right, just part of his deceptive nature. And look, I don't like any of these websites. You know, these occultist websites and whatnot, because well, they'll give you all this type of information, which is useful, all right, but they will never show you what I'm showing you, like as in where to actually go and find these entities inside this realm. Now, that may be because they don't know, right? It's most likely because they don't know, right? Just because they're a practitioner in magic and arts doesn't mean that they've got any idea about this sort of information, all right? Like, they're just as dumb as, the guy living next door to you. All right, now, in relation to these entities, you can come across here on my 3.0 channel, my playlists, and have a look at this Entities Explained playlist. That's the best explanation that I've been able to find anywhere online in terms of helping you to be able to identify them, or not so much to be able to identify them, but just seeding the information into your mind that these entities are all over YouTube. Not just YouTube, but I mean, look, they're your political leaders, your entertainers, etc., etc. All right, so Agares, there's Pastor Daniel. This Chiron, the last, is the rebellious meat puppet. And look, he plays a lot of other roles, but I'm just trying to keep this video short and straight to the point today. Now, he made this video earlier today. All right, look, I mean, that's obviously Alexander Dugin. Now, you can look at a photo like that and say, well, the rebellious meat puppet and Pastor Daniel don't look anything alike. And that's another deception that these YouTubers have taught you. And a lot of the time, it's these demons that are actually running these YouTube channels that are teaching you this information, that someone has to look identical or they have to look almost like someone in order to be that entity. And that's not at all the case. Now, it is the case at the lower rungs of, like your Hollywood types and like your lab created beings or those wearing prosthetics and whatnot, but it's not at all the case once you get up into these type of demons that you will hear me speak about on my channel. All right, because you're dealing with shapeshifters, you're dealing with forces that none of these YouTubers have ever bothered to try to explain to you, and you've got to be able to read someone's spirit, all right, the spirit behind the entity as well, so you don't just go by appearance. All right, it's not something that anyone can just get up and do, because that's when you invite the usual disinformation type characters and channels. Now, I've put a lot of timestamps here for this video. Like, he's deleted this. He deleted it as soon as he knew that I was onto him. Like, it wasn't even up for an hour, all right, because this guy stalks what I do online, all right, because I've battled him and he's got his ass handed to him every single time. And like all of these demons, they don't learn their lesson, they hold grudges, and they think that they can get one up over you. Right, and that's when I'm forced to come along and say, look, I've had enough, and you get a video like this, right, where this guy's properly exposed. All right, now, I'm just going to try and fast forward to the timestamps that I have. So, he talks about relationships here. And that's interesting because the angel that opposes Agares is an angel that's associated with love and like passion and whatnot. Right? And, you know, like these angels and these demons and whatnot, they are real entities, all right? I mean, most of what you read up about them online is absolute nonsense, you know, especially when it comes from these YouTube channels. Right? Especially if there's any money involved, or they're trying to sell you courses, or they're claiming to be like spirit guides. All that's all nonsense. All right, but you know, and then you've got the other crowd that will tell you that angels are just angles of light, and whilst that's true to an extent, that's, you know, that they're also part of, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly, part of pushing disinformation, right? By telling you that these entities aren't real. Like, I can identify, I mean, for instance, of the 72 demons of the Goetia, I can find just about every single one of them up here online, whether it be in politics, entertainment, whether they be running YouTube channels. And yeah, I mean, look, they've really got to piss me off in order to get a video, right? That's why this guy's getting a video, right? But if I wanted to, I'm not going to, because if they don't do anything to me, I've got no reason to make a video about them. All right, but if I wanted to, yeah, I could go through each and every one of them and show you who they are, where they are, how to identify them, etc. All right, so just bear with me here while I find these timestamps.
Fated for no love.
All right, we're just going to go back because this is where he starts talking about it.
In the relationships that I've had, I'm the one that loves. Never been on the receiving end of it. And I've mistaken them giving me copious amounts of sex and the emotional bond that comes with it for love. I've had a life that was fated for no love, fated for no connections, fated for no bonds, no fucking soul tribe in this motherfucking world.
All right, and you have to read between the lines here, because for all you know, this guy could be LARPing again to an extent. All right, so they play all sorts of roles. Right now, like, there's lots of YouTubers, for instance, that I've mentioned before that are playing other roles. Like, I'll just give you one off the top of my head, like Illuma Tommy. All right, that's Travis Barker from Link 182. Now, obviously on YouTube, people think he's just a lot of people just think he's a shit-talking knobhead, you know, like runs his mouth and that. Now, there was one time when he got up and told people that he's got mansions, and mentioned about his trading abilities with and how he made a lot of money from XRP and whatnot. And then some other YouTubers come along and said, well, no, he just lives in some bum-ass apartment in, I forget where it was and that. But, like, I could get on X right now and show you Illuma Tommy and show you that he's one of the most successful traders on X, or I mean anywhere in the Western world, in terms of his success rate for just hitting gains constantly. All right, so these characters, they can play any sort of role. They may get bored of being a celebrity or someone of influence, and they may want to just be a bum for a bit, you know, so that they can just get away from it all. Or I don't know. I mean, obviously different in each individual case. All right, now we'll just fast forward to the next part.
Put me in this world. Did that on purpose. It is working to destroy me, but slowly and sadistically. So, what am I supposed to do? What hope am I supposed to have? I just had this fucking woman come across my path again, and she just shows that...
And look, he most likely knows as well that this here entity opposes him, and that's why he's mentioned this in his video. Well, like I said, you've got to read between the lines. I mean, look, I don't expect you to be able to pick up on this before today. If you didn't know about this, well, then, of course, you're not going to pick up on it. But now, I mean, in terms of this entity, you've got no excuse.
Zebras don't change their fucking stripes. Total waste of time and money on her part. So it's like something is willfully bringing these really fucked up women across my path that have malignant intentions. There's something about me they're jealous of, they're envious of. I've said something to piss them off. So they'll play the part of being nice, play the part until then they get you in their lair, so to speak. And then as a human, you've got to make yourself vulnerable. You can talk and open up. Then I'm telling you, this has been such a willful attack on my life. When I say I want to kill God, I mean it with every fiber of my fucking being, every aspect of my soul, and every aspect of the spirit that animates.
Right, so that's something that all of these demons, or not all of them, but most of them have in common. All right, their hatred towards God. All right, not a God, right, because there's many, but they always reference the same God. All right, these entities. All right, when you hear them speaking about this type of stuff, they're always speaking about the same God. Now, I'm just going to fast forward it here again.
Relevant to the shamanic stuff, Coach, I don't want to play that game. Well, I'm in a shit maggots because look at what they do to us knowing that we don't know anything. So, you know, when I say I don't want to be in this world, when I say I've wanted to blow my own brains out, it's not just throwing loosely used terms out. There's nothing here for me. I can't even find a decent fucking woman. This woman, if you only understood, like, and I'm not even going to go there, but I just was like appalled at what she actually turned the fuck out to be. And then I look at the path that I've been on and the good work that I've been trying to do, teaching humans about themselves. And there is no spiritual force that has helped me. I shouldn't be fucking homeless with no money. 2 cents in the bank and 38 cents in my pocket. I shouldn't be in that situation. Especially what I've gone through, especially what I've been giving, especially what I've been sharing. It's not my fault that these fucking Jews are squeezing down my message and the algorithms won't let it get out. It's not.
He's always pushing the Jew hatred. All right, same as the rest of them. All right, always blaming the Jews. All right, and they're very it's always just that same word. All right, the Jews, they paint it with such a broad brush. All right, and that's another dead giveaway. All right, that these demons are all running the same narratives. All right, and they're trying to teach humans to think like them. Now, I'm just going to fast forward a bit here.
And do all the things they do to children to Baal and Molech. That's a spiritual force. They believe it. That's been known for thousands of years. Well, this God thing's been known, but what do you got to do for it to help you? No, what do you got to do to it be a respecter? I'm no respecter of gods. In fact, I intend to be the one that slaughters them all and mounts their heads on fucking walls.
All right, so that's what I meant by the hatred. All right, towards, I mean, they're all talking about the same entity. I'm trying to explain it here in a way that you can all understand. Now, I'm just going to fast forward it here again.
Targeted individuals, say. And the stories they tell it, how they've been targeted. But that's all by men and government and dickheads with technology and blah, 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 or aliens, maybe. Well, for me, as I've started looking back through my life, after I became far more conscious through that shamanic work and the entheogenic work, tell me that doesn't do a lot for consciousness and shit. You're wrong if you think that. Then I started looking back, and then I educated myself to communism, narcissism, and Jews. And when I started looking
back... All right, now, when he mentions that he's educated himself in communism, Nazism, and Jews, that will go over most people's heads, right? Because they don't know that he's Alexander Dugin. Go and have a look at what Alexander Dugin has studied. Right? It all matches up with this character here because he's the demon Agares. Right, this video's gone past half an hour. I was actually hoping that it was going to be about 5 minutes, but all right, we'll just fast forward here again.
Or what show they try to put on. I've been doing what I've been doing from homelessness, living in my vehicle, 50th birthday in a goddamn truck stop, caring more about humanity than I care about myself to a certain degree. And look at what this reality has had for me. Does this not blow the lid off of everything any of us have fucking believed? No. I mean, you're in a reality where, in the context of that whole religious stuff, they killed Jesus, for fuck's sake, and the God didn't do anything about it. And then if you understand this concept, this thing finds you, maggot human, all you maggot humans, all of us. So,
all right, now see how he addressed humans, and he does it a lot. And then he has to correct himself. Right? He'll say, like, oh, all of us. Right? Because this character here isn't human. And he's an actor. And for all you know, he's also LARPing here. All right, in terms of he may want to be out and about free like he is. Right, and his backstory may not be at all what he claims it is. All right, well, I mean, he's Alexander Dugin. He's Agares. All right, but it goes back to what I was saying before about a lot of these celebrities and that once they get sick, have not even been able to walk down to their local store without being recognised. They may go and play the role of a bum in another country, for instance, so that they can get up online and keep teaching without raising any red flags or blowing their cover. Alright, so I'm going to finish the video up here. Hopefully I've shown you how you can begin to start identifying these characters yourself. Alright, because they are all over YouTube. And no doubt in future there will be more of them that will gain a bit of Dutch courage and think they can go up against me. All right, so no doubt you will see more videos like this, all right, because they will lose. All right, but until then, like, I don't just go around and pick arguments with people online, all right? Like, you can go through all my videos on all these people that I've exposed. It doesn't matter which channel it is. All right, and I just make the video on them and I keep it moving, all right? Ask any of them if I've ever made a video on them and then turned up on their channels trolling them. Never. All right, never, except for Pastor Daniel, right, Agares, right, because he's a piece of crap. But anyone else, right, they've turned up on my channels after I've exposed them, trolling me, right, with entire crews. They come in 10 at a time, and I still haven't gone over to their channel and trolled them. All right, I just drop the video and keep it moving.